With me on the line to talk about this is Independent Councillor Jackie Healy-Rae and Labour Councillor Marie Maloney. Good morning to both of you. And Jackie, I'll start with you on this one. Obviously, extreme frustration here. The assumption had been, with all of the delays that there's been to this project thus far, that things would finally be ready and it would sail through the HSE registration process. But we learned yesterday that's not the case.
Yeah, good morning, Jerry, to you and all your listeners. I suppose this frustration has been building really since March, when on the 26th of March, there was still the possibility of it opening at the end of March, which had been alluded to us on the 26th of March at a HSE Forum meeting. What later transpired, Jory, was you yourself had representatives from the INMO on your radio show on the Friday stating that the HSE hadn't engaged with them since the previous May. Now, I tackled the HSE and the Director of Communication about that yesterday, because I had done it at a previous forum meeting in April, but to no avail. But yesterday it did transpire, that the INMO, as I would suspected, were correct in what they were saying, which leads us to believe that, this hospital never had a chance of opening for the 31st of March. And what has transpired since, obviously, is that despite efforts, to be fair, in trying to open the hospital, there's still issues. And I suppose, last Thursday, we were told that there was a meeting with HSE. Positive feedback had been given, but at the same time, not enough had been done to get across the line, and that there was still issues outstanding. Now, I suppose you could look at that one or two ways, Jerry. You could look at it in case of, God, like really, is it a case of that the HSE still don't have their ducks in a row in order to get this hospital open? Or is it a case of that, HSE are literally looking at every little thing in, so it is no more, Jerry, at times when you'd have a housing inspection and it could be not having the fire blanket in the right place that could undo you, and that could be a case of that you get a letter out saying, oh well, you have to move it. So there could be an element of that also, Jerry, but again, we weren't necessarily told yesterday what the outstanding elements of the job are. The one thing that we were told was that a commitment has been given to Minister Kieran O'Donnell at a meeting recently between themselves, HSE management and the Minister, to state that the end of June is now the commitment that has been given to the Minister for opening the hospital. I suppose, Jerry, we have people in Killarney and throughout Kerry that are waiting for beds. We have people, unfortunately, who are, and to use the phrase, bed blocking, because they want to, move from the bed that they're in to the new unit in Killarney. We have dementia-specific beds, which are much needed in this county, that people are waiting for. And unfortunately, Jerry, oftentimes have to go out of the county in order to get these types of beds. They are the people that are being left down by the HSE due to the failures of opening this in a timely manner. It has gone on far too long, Jerry. We've been given date after date, and while the HSE are saying, oh well, we have to give a date because we're being asked for dates as to when this is opening, but to think that they have had the hospital now, Jerry, since December, and that timelines have been missed and continue to be missed, it simply isn't good enough. Huge amount of taxpayers' money has gone into this building.
Yeah, absolutely infuriating. Jackie, there's open questions, obviously, about the INMO and the staffing of the hospital as well. It's difficult enough to staff things at the best of times, and I know staff are being transferred from Columbanis and other places that are going to be moving in there as well. But at the same time, if you keep having a moving target of an opening date, then you can't really tell the staff when they're going to start, can you? And that's part of the issue.
Absolutely, Jory. But what I find absolutely amazing is the fact that we had a HSE meeting on the 26th of March where we were told that there was still some small bit of optimism that it could open by the 31st of March. And then on the Friday, we had, the very next day, we had members and representatives of the INMO on your radio show saying that they hadn't been engaged with for nearly 9 months, Jory. And that to me is just scandalous, to be honest with you. And it's very clear to see when I questioned that yesterday and in an official reply that the HSE didn't meet then with the INMO and St. Columbanus staff until the 14th of April of this year. So it had nearly gone a full 12 months before they had engaged properly with the INMO. And that to me is, if you're serious about getting a hospital off the ground, this should have been being done with months and months, Jerry. So like that process, is started. I don't believe it's finalised. The reply that I got yesterday, they confirmed that they've written to HICWA confirming that updated site works and agreed dates for requesting outstanding works are going to take place. It's hoped to quickly agree an opening date for the unit, Jerry, is what is in a written reply. And like that, to me, it's leaving the people of Killarney down, but as well it's leaving the people of Kerry down, because this while it's in Killarney, it's a Kerry hospital. It's going to provide much needed healthcare for people in Kerry and relieve beds from other choked up areas within our healthcare system, Jerry. The HSE really have left themselves down in regards to this, because all along, up until December, to be fair, their excuse was they were waiting to get it from the contractor, and that's fine. That's one thing. We've that going on above in Dublin as well, but they can't use that excuse now anymore. And unfortunately, while up until March, I would have given them the benefit of the doubt, in that, they were doing everything that they could to possibly get the hospital open. Well, that became very apparently not to be true, Jerry, when we had representatives of the INMO who rightly had to out the HSE on your very radio show to try and get them to engage with them. And everything that we as HSE Forum members had been told up until that date, quite frankly, was not accurate. And I called out that yesterday to the Director of Communication, because the communication around this, Jerry, has been extremely poor.
Well,
we have to dig for answers.
Is there a wider question, even aside from all of that, about this whole process? Because there's 530 beds across the country being provided under this 25-year plan. This is a new way of doing things, new public-private partnership to deliver community nursing units in Finbars in Cork, Killarney, obviously, Thomastown, Kilkenny, Ardee, County Louth, Athlone, Clonmel, Middleton, as well. All these units of various sizes, delivered, designed, finances built and maintained for a 25-year period, while the HSE retains direct control over all clinical care and staffing in the period, and the HSE makes yearly payments then to the consortium. Does all of that come into question if this delay has come in so long at the start of the process? That this isn't maybe the best way to deliver things.
But absolutely, Jerry, and you have to question it. I mean, you'll try everything once, Jerry, and see how you fare out with it. And this hasn't worked well, to be honest. It hasn't worked well in Killarney. I can't speak for the other two sites where this is happening, but I believe that there's delays in those instances as well. And Jerry, but I suppose everything that seems to be happening within the state at the minute is taking a lot longer than it should, and a lot longer. It's a fine thing, Jerry, to be told a date and that date be met. And if that date is in 6 months' time, once it's met, you can understand and take it from there. But when you have dates being given and just flimsily being missed, and kind of just dates being thrown out there and no regard being given for them, and it's a case of, oh, whoops, we missed that date now again. It's not the way to do business, Jerry, and it's not the way to run a healthcare system, because that's what we're talking about. Because when we're talking about this hospital, we're talking about real people. We're talking about, often elderly people who are in our communities that need long stay residential beds. And in this instance as well, we're talking about people who unfortunately are suffering from dementia, families that need to have dementia-specific beds. There's beds within our healthcare system that have people with dementia in them that they shouldn't be there, because the level of care can't be provided for them in those instances. That's why when we'll have these dementia beds in Killarney, it will be specialised, specific care for those people who need it. And so it comes back to what we're trying to achieve, Jerry. We're trying to achieve a better healthcare system and a better service for people, but nobody is being served by an empty building where nobody's in it. It's like it was referenced in a media outlet at one stage, the hospital, the ghost hospital with nobody in it. You know, it looks great when you're passing the bypass and you can look down and you see the lights are on, there's lovely maintained shrubs and grass and everything, but there's nobody working there. It just doesn't make sense, and it's beyond belief, Jerry, at this stage.